We are counting down the 10 smartest aircraft picks for pilots over 60, planes chosen for comfort, stability, and the hidden advantages the flight schools never mention. From vintage classics with front seat simplicity, to wide-bodied cruisers that rival luxury cars, and even sleek modern designs that sidestep FAA medical red tape, each one proves you do not have to sacrifice dignity for flight. Which model sets the new standard for accessible, enjoyable flying? Let us begin our countdown with number 10. The Aeronca Champ earns its place on the list for one simple reason: you solo from the front seat, not the back. For pilots who remember the Piper Cub with fondness, but remember the difficulty of climbing over struts and squeezing into the rear, the Champ feels like coming home, without the acrobatics. Built from steel tube and fabric, the 7AC Champ first appeared in 1945 and quickly gained a reputation for honest handling and easy access. The door sits low and opens wide on the right side, so there is no wing climb and no awkward twisting. Most Champs, especially the classic 7AC, meet the light sport aircraft rules, which means a driver's license is all the medical paperwork you need. Just check the weight placard and the logs to confirm eligibility. For older pilots, that front seat is not just nostalgia, it is practical design, letting you step in, sit down, and fly with your dignity intact. Beechcraft's Sundowner and Musketeer series introduced a different kind of comfort to general aviation, one you feel on touchdown. Unlike the spring steel gear found on most Cessnas, the Sundowner's trailing link landing gear uses a clever system of rubber donuts and pivoting arms to absorb the shock of imperfect landings. The result is a ride pilots often compare to a sofa on wheels. Even after a firm arrival, the gear squats and soaks up the vertical G's, keeping the jolt away from your spine. Cabin width comes in at a generous 42 to 43 inches, making it noticeably broader than many trainers of its era. Owners praise the Sundowner for forgiving landings and easy entry through wide, low doors. Maintenance is straightforward, though those elastomer donuts do need regular inspection for age and cracking. While the Sundowner is not the fastest cruiser, its engineered landing comfort and roomy interior have made it a favorite among pilots who value their backs as much as their logbooks. The Flight Design ctls stands apart for pilots who want to keep flying even after letting their FAA medical expire. Introduced in the mid-2000s, the ctls was purpose-built for the light sport aircraft category, and it is one of the few planes that feels truly modern while still qualifying for the sport pilot rule. The cabin stretches an impressive 49 inches across at the shoulders, wider than a Cessna 182, and the clear upward swinging doors make entry almost effortless. For pilots who dread climbing over a wing or squeezing through a narrow hatch, this is a revelation. The real draw is regulatory. Under the sport pilot rule, a valid US driver's license replaces the need for a third-class medical, so long as there is no prior denial or revocation. That means no FAA medical exams, no paperwork treadmill, and just a self-certification of fitness before each flight. The ctls is capped at 1,320 pounds gross weight and 2 seats, but inside it feels anything but cramped. Most examples come with glass panel avionics, Dynon or Garmin, offering bright screens, moving maps, and even integrated autopilots. Composite construction does require careful inspection for delamination and hanger rash, but maintenance is straightforward for shops familiar with modern materials. For older pilots, the ctls offers a rare combination: advanced technology, generous space, and a legal path to keep flying, all without the worry of losing medical eligibility. In the late 1940s, the Stinson 108 earned its nickname the station wagon of the air. Unlike the tight, twitchy tail draggers that came before it, the 108 offered 4 real seats, a fat fuselage, and a kind of comfort that felt more Detroit than Dayton. The cabin is wide and tall, with enough headroom and legroom to fit a full-size family or a pair of pilots who want space to stretch. Roll-down windows, like a car, make summer flying a breeze, and the yoke control wheel means you steer with your hands, not your wrists. Pilots call it the Cadillac of tail draggers for a reason. The Stinson feels heavy and planted, soaking up bumps and turbulence with a stable, almost truck-like ride. It does not dart or dance on the ground like lighter tailwheel planes. Instead, it tracks straight and forgives small mistakes as long as you respect its size and keep your feet busy on the rudder. Beneath the fabric skin, a steel tube frame keeps the structure strong, while metal wings add durability. Like any vintage taildragger, it demands proper training to avoid ground loops, and insurance companies often want proof of recent tailwheel time, especially for pilots over 60. But for those willing to take the checkout seriously, the Stinson 108 delivers a rare blend: classic looks, real space, and a ride that leaves your back and your pride intact. Tecnam's P2010 stands out for pilots who want modern comfort without sacrificing the familiar feel of a high wing. Introduced in the early 2010s by the Italian manufacturer, the P2010 blends a carbon fiber fuselage with traditional metal wings and tail, creating a structure that is both strong and corrosion resistant. The real magic is in the cabin. Unlike most four-seaters, the P2010 features a dedicated third door on the right side. No more clambering over seats or squeezing through narrow gaps. Pilots and passengers can step straight into the back without a struggle, and the high wing layout means gravity does half the work as you sit down. The front seats slide a generous distance on sturdy rails, making it easy for pilots well over 6 feet tall to stretch out or adjust for perfect control reach. Reviewers and owners consistently praise the legroom and headroom, calling it a true standout among modern singles. The interior borrows from automotive design with thoughtful upholstery, soundproofing, and ambient lighting that make long flights less tiring. For pilots who have spent years in cramped trainers, the difference is immediate. No more knees jammed against the yoke or awkward twisting to reach baggage. The P2010 has a Garmin G1000 glass cockpit. It is fully capable of flying under instrument flight rules and ready for cross-country travel. The carbon-metal hybrid structure keeps the airplane light and efficient, while advanced avionics reduce workload and improve situational awareness. While it does require a standard medical certificate and is not eligible as a light sport aircraft or for driver license medical shortcuts, the P2010 delivers a level of comfort and accessibility that is rare in certified four-seaters. For those who put a premium on easy entry, legroom, and modern amenities, but do not mind a bit more paperwork, the Tecnam P2010 earns its spot on this list. The Luscombe 8 Silvaire gleams on the ramp like a polished trophy from aviation's early days. Yet its shine is more than skin deep. Introduced in the late 1930s, the Luscombe was one of the first truly all-metal light planes, ditching the fabric and wood routine for riveted aluminum skin. For pilots tired of worrying about fabric rot or the looming bill for a full recover, this design feels like a gift. The metal holds up to decades of sun and rain, and while corrosion checks are still essential, especially in the tail cone and lower fuselage, most owners agree it is a less daunting prospect than fabric work. Inside, the Luscombe is snug. Think sports car, not family sedan. The doors are small, and getting in takes a bit of a bend, but once you settle onto the seat, the airplane rewards you with something rare: fingertip control harmony. Every movement of the stick and rudder translates instantly to the wings and tail. Pilots call it flying by thought, and for those who want to keep their hands and minds sharp, the Luscombe is a perfect partner. It does not demand brute strength, it rewards finesse. The light, responsive controls keep every flight engaging, even at modest speeds. Maintenance is straightforward if you keep up with corrosion inspections, and the Luscombe Association Type Club is a lifeline for parts, advice, and camaraderie. Some variants of the Luscombe 8 qualify as light sport aircraft, letting you fly on just a driver's license medical. Check the logs and weight limits to be sure. The cabin may be tight, and the tailwheel means it is not the easiest on the ground, but for pilots who want a little challenge with their comfort and a shine that never fades, the Luscombe 8 earns its place as the polished gem in this lineup. The North American Navion was born from the same minds that crafted the P-51 Mustang. and it carries that legacy in every line of its design. Built just after World War II, the Navion's all-metal frame and broad stance evoke the warbirds of an earlier era, but with a focus on comfort and practicality. The sliding canopy, a direct nod to fighter aircraft, allows pilots to step onto the wing and settle into a generous cockpit. No awkward contortions, just a straightforward entry that appeals especially to those who remember the golden age of aviation. What truly distinguishes the Navion is its hydraulic system. An engine-driven pump powers the landing gear, the large flaps, and the brakes. Instead of wrestling with manual cranks or levers, pilots operate smooth controls, letting hydraulic actuators take the strain. This setup reduces physical effort and delivers a sense of mechanical confidence, especially on longer flights. The gear and flaps, when properly maintained, are known for their dependability, but the system introduces complexity. Owners keep a close eye on hydraulic leaks, worn seals, and the occasional need for actuator rebuilds. Sourcing parts sometimes means reaching out to the American Navion Society or joining group orders. In flight, the Navion's weight, up to 2,850 pounds, translates to a ride that feels solid and stable, even in rough air. Its high wing loading helps it shrug off turbulence, earning it a reputation as a tank among four-seat singles. The controls remain conventional, but the overall experience is one of comfort and assurance. For those seeking warbird heritage without the physical demands, the Navion stands just outside the top three. The Zenith CH-750 does not try to win beauty contests. It is built for one thing, making flying as accessible as possible, especially for pilots who are done with climbing, twisting, or squeezing into tight cockpits. The first thing you notice is the door, actually both doors. They are not just wide, they are deep, with a bubble shape that bows outward, giving more elbow room and a clear sightline all the way to the ground. The opening is massive, nearly 3 feet tall, and starts just a few inches above the ramp. There is no wing to climb over, no step stool, no acrobatics. You swing the door, step in, and sit down. If you use a cane or need a little extra space for your knees, the Y-shaped center stick leaves the entire floor open. Nothing blocks your path. This is a plane designed for function, not for show. The high wing means gravity helps you, not fights you. The seats are upright, with plenty of legroom, and the windows wrap around for a panoramic view. The CH-750 is a true short takeoff and landing performer. It can take off in as little as 120 feet and land on strips that look more like driveways than runways. It qualifies as an experimental light sport aircraft, so you can fly it on just a driver's license medical, provided you meet the FAA basic rules. Builders can order it as a kit or buy completed examples as experimental light sport aircraft, with paperwork that is straightforward and widely supported by Zenith. The trade-off for all this accessibility is cruise speed and curb appeal. The CH-750 is not fast, and it will not turn heads on the ramp. But for pilots who care more about getting in and out with dignity and flying low and slow over the farm than crossing states at 140 knots, it is the ultimate utility plane. Pure function beats form, and no other aircraft on this list makes it easier to keep taking to the sky year after year. Socata TB10 and TB20 series were designed with comfort and ease in mind, qualities that become more valuable with every passing year. The moment you approach the airplane, the difference is obvious. Those signature gull-wing doors swing up and out of the way, inviting you to simply sit down, not climb up. No wing to scale, no awkward step onto a strut, and no twisting to wedge yourself through a narrow opening. The entry is low and direct, with the sill at about waist height for most pilots. Even after a knee replacement or two, you can step in and settle behind the yoke as naturally as sliding into a European sedan. Inside, the cabin feels more car-like than a Piper. The central console stretches between the seats, housing the throttle, mixture, and trim in a layout that is instantly familiar to anyone who has ever driven a car. The seats are upright and supportive, and the visibility through the wraparound windshield is excellent. There is space to move, with a cabin width approaching 46 inches, roomier than many American four-seaters of the same era. The side panels and dashboard carry a distinctly French flair with soft curves and thoughtful touches that make long flights less tiring. The fixed-gear TB10 offers simplicity and lower maintenance, while the TB20 adds retractable gear and more horsepower for those who want faster cross-country legs. Both variants keep the same easy-access doors and car-like ergonomics. Owners often mention how the upward opening doors turn heads on the ramp, but it is the everyday practicality that wins loyalty. No more worrying about sore hips or tight joints on a hot afternoon. Part sourcing can be pricier and sometimes slower than with American-built aircraft, especially for interior plastics or windows, but strong owner groups and aftermarket suppliers fill many gaps. For pilots who want a plane that respects their age and their dignity, the Socata TB series delivers. It is the next best thing to flying your favorite car, and for many, that is almost as important as speed or range. Only one model on this list offers a wider cabin and even easier access, but the Socata's blend of style, comfort, and sit-down entry earns it a well-deserved spot near the top. The Rockwell Commander 112 and 114 claim the top spot for comfort and dignity, a reputation earned the moment one approaches the aircraft. Two full-size doors, one on each side, open wide to a cabin measuring 47 inches across at the shoulders, the widest in its class. This is not just a statistic, it is a transformation in how pilots experience flight. No more squeezing past the yoke or bumping elbows. Entry is low and direct, with deep-cut doors and upright seating that invite pilots to step in naturally without climbing or twisting. For those who have spent years contorting into narrow cockpits, the Commander design feels like a long overdue invitation to relax. Comfort extends beyond the cabin width. The Commander sits high on trailing link main gear, a feature borrowed from larger, more expensive aircraft. This gear absorbs runway imperfections and cushions landings, sparing backs and knees from the jolt common in lighter planes. Taxiing over cracked pavement or touching down on rough strips, the trailing link system flexes and compresses, keeping the ride composed. For pilots who value a soft arrival as much as speed, this is a rare privilege. The airframe itself is substantial, with most models weighing over 2,700 pounds empty. In flight, this heft translates to a stable, reassuring presence. Turbulence is met with calm resistance, reducing fatigue on long journeys. The controls feel solid and predictable, with enough weight to inspire confidence but never demanding undue effort. Electric gear and flaps simplify workload, and many Commanders now feature updated avionics, matching the capabilities of modern tourers. Support for the Commander remains strong thanks to an active owners group and dedicated suppliers. Maintenance shops familiar with the type monitor known issues like spar carry-through corrosion and gear trunnion wear, but the overall engineering has stood the test of time. Built for executives, not rental fleets, the Commander rewards every flight with comfort, stability, and a sense of arrival. For many, it is the airplane to keep, a final reward for years spent chasing the perfect balance of ease and dignity. Across all 10 entries, one pattern stands out. True flying longevity isn't about youth, it's about smart design and changing the rules to fit real pilots' needs. Planes that prioritize accessibility, comfort, and regulatory flexibility keep aviators in the left seat longer. In aviation, staying aloft isn't about age, it's about choosing the machines that age with you. Which one would keep you flying? Let's talk in the comments.